Yeah.
But let's flip over to before we get to Ukraine. Let's flip over to immigration in the U.S. So recently, as you've been following, there were a lot of noise between President Trump and Governor Gavin Newsom out in California. So ever since you and I had spoken about the Supreme Court basically greenlighting, some steps by the Trump administration to be able to, mass deport up to 250,000 people who actually did have status here. Um, Not that the Supreme Court agreed, but the Supreme Court permitted it based on some technicality in the lower courts or whatever. I think the administration been very, very emboldened, and they've been taking some steps to be more aggressive and removing folks. It's been suggested that they were going after more criminal aliens. However, ICE, people showing up at Home Depot, for example, in LA, this sparked a lot of controversy and people left and right started going out to protest. And Trump sent the National Guards to prevent the protests from becoming riots. And there were some riots. I mean, you saw Apple stores being looted, for example. And so this turned into a giant circus, in my opinion, where, okay, both sides had some good points, but at the same time, it turned into this made for TV moment across our country. And then we had No King's Day follow that. This was on this past weekend, and coincidentally, the same time Trump was having the 250th Army parade in D.C. So all of this came to a head on immigration. Now it's completely off the news radar because we're back to Iran and Israel. But what was your take on all that had happened in such a very short period of time? And what's your assessment about where things stand immigration wise in the U.S.?
That so many people in so many cities came out to oppose what's been going on with immigration was warming for me. I thought, there's a note of sanity, and it was peaceful, largely. Okay, there were some skirmishes and so on, but largely peaceful, except for these days you have to make some guy shot
I saw that
someone
somebody did
dead,
get killed in
and
Utah.
so
Yes.
yeah, which is horrible. But overall, amazingly, most of it was peaceful, and the people made the point. The point being, there are excesses here. This is not being done the way it should be. There's nobody that's opposed to deporting criminals. I have never met someone who wants to keep criminals here. But I read articles and letters. One evangelical leader wrote to Trump saying, "Hey, okay, we finally got it. The point is, we're going to go after the criminals, but let's give these people who've been here for 10, 15, 20 years a break. Let's sharpen the pencil here on what the focus is," which is a good sign in my view. And the fact that Trump has backed off on farm workers and hotel workers and restaurant workers is a good sign. It seems like we're making some progress in the immigration sphere in terms of figuring out what is and what is not appropriate and where we need to go. And I think that's a good sign. And people are waking up in terms of their views and paying attention to what's going on nationally. There's almost a revival taking place among people in the United States. One troubling statistic I read the other day, which is 60% of Americans can only read up to the sixth grade level. Oh my goodness. Like, we've got to focus on education, man. Like that's just not a possible scenario. I think that's a starting point.
Yeah.
We got to really hone in on education. We got to get people, reading for starters. But, I take heart in that it's like a pendulum. It's going back and
Yeah.
forth, but it seems like there's progress being made, and um, there's hope for America. you know, um, what can I say?